Well, let's get to a place where it doesn't really change weather all that much. It's just pretty much cold for the majority of the year.
Dublin.
Dan, let's take you back to 1989 in the Smolsnik region of Russia. You are a 29-year-old man by the name of Vladislav Shawshankski, and you are a rising star in the legal arena, a prosecutor that had investigated large-scale corruption in Uzbekistan. One day, for seemingly no reason other than what you would eventually call boredom, you decide to spice things up a little bit. You grab a knife, head into town, and murder a bookkeeper and a cashier. You know, how you're just bored one day. He's like, I should murder someone.
Who are you, Comrade Question?
Moose and squirrel. I killed him with knife. You are subsequently arrested and convicted to death. To wait out this punishment, you are sent to Ogneny Ostrov, or Fire Island.
Nice.
Yeah, an ironic name since Ogneny Ostrov sits about 300 miles north of Moscow, almost halfway between Moscow and the Arctic Circle. This island sits in the middle of a perpetually frozen lake, Novozero, in the middle of the perpetually frozen forest in the Berozursky district in Vologda Oblast, Russia.
That means
on this island,
molten lava, fire land.
Yes.
It's also an ironic nickname.
And on this island, in this lake, in this forest, sits prison number OE256/5, or as the inmates call it, Pyatak, which is /5 in Russian. They just call it /5, but Pyatak. So, whatever. And what awaits you isn't the standard bullyings or rapes or beatings from guards. No gang wars or drug abuses or murders for not paying up for contraband. No, the pain of Pyatak is actually the exact opposite of all that action and excitement. It's the soul-crushing isolation. The eventual realization that life will, from that point forward, have zero meaning. Now, after a few years in what will become known as the Russian Alcatraz, in May of 1996, the day you are to be executed by gunshot to the back of the head, a prison official comes to the execution cell and tells you your life will be spared because of Boris Yeltsin's moratorium on the death sentence. I wish that I wish. I'm not a fan of the death penalty, but if we were going to do it, I'd rather it be gunshot to the back of the head than the way we do it now, lethal injection, because it's not as clean, obviously, but it's quicker, and it's painless.
Well, I assume it is.
You would think.
Nobody's ever survived to let us know if it hurt them or not. So.
Yeah, I've never been shot in the back of the head, so I wouldn't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that it's not.
It's like, well, he didn't complain much. It obviously didn't hurt. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. And part of me thinks that there are certain things that when people do it, I believe they more like really kind of give up their own rights for anything, like when it comes to murder, sexual assault.
Sure.
If you are taking away somebody else's kind of, thanks, Sonny, then yours realistically in some way should be forfeit. But how you go about that is another story. Sonny.
Yeah, and then there's always the question of, what if they're not guilty?
Yeah.
What if, because, you listen to enough true crime podcasts or watch enough Dateline of people getting railroaded into prison for something they obviously did not do just because the jurors, were enamored with a really charismatic prosecutor.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so yeah, I noticed that side of it too, but I guessed that's probably why they take so long to actually carry it out. But
yeah, you got to go through all your appeals. You got to go
Yeah.
through the process, and then I think it's just more punishment before ultimate death. But I don't know.
Look,
I'm not.
I won't be unlucky enough to experience it. So, well, you never know. All the same,
Yeah.
there was God. What movie was it we were watching? And the person said, every person is capable of murder. You just haven't met the right person yet, or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's fucking true.
Well, I don't. I hope I don't want to go to prison and get put on death row if my stepkids give away any of my fucking candy. It might happen.
Fucking eyes on this. Can you see that?
You can barely see it.
Fucking cat.
Cat up on Dan's shoulder.
There you go.
Oh,
I just see his floating
that's
eyes.
creepy. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy.
I guess having a jet black cat.
Fuck. Now, before we get into what exactly makes Pyatak so horrible, let's talk about how this prison came to be. Because if this show is anything, it's a history podcast. And for that, we have to go all the way back to 1517, where it was less a place of isolation and punishment and more a place of prayer and worship. A local Orthodox cleric named Cyril of Novozero, which would later be changed to Saint Cyril, claimed to witness a column of fire descending onto the island from the heavens. Cyril saw this vision as a sign and decided to fund a monastery on the island, and over the next 4 centuries it sat in relative peace, mostly because of its secluded location. I think maybe him and that one guy that saw the cross in the deer's antlers and that was thrown in the brazen bull. I think they were smoking the same stuff, eating the same shrooms. Do you see the cross in the middle of that deer's forehead? No, but do you see that column of fire?
He was just completely stoned. He lit his lighter, you see, is what it was, to light his next doobie. And he saw the flame go up. He's like, whoa!
It's like Otto from The Simpsons. Yeah. They call them fingers, but I never see him thing. Oh, there they go.